Go back there. Go there. Go there. Go there. Hospital printer है मैं दो पर्सन में क्या printer कितनी बड़ी मछली है Yeah, but transport border, that's the part we stopped on, right? Now chattering has given. 97, chattering as they went. Chattering as they went, the women followed the dusty track toward the river. On their way, they passed a Gujjar encampment of grass huts, where these nomadic graziers would live for a time until their animals had perhaps finished all the easy grazing within reach, or they were not able to sell enough of their white butter and white milk in the district, or there was no one to buy the young male buffaloes for tiger bait. So what they are saying is when these women used to go up to catch to get their paper grass, there was this butcher encampment. Means there was a small butcher camp which had been set up. The butchers are nomadic tribes. Nomads are those who move from one place to the other. Okay, and girls, तुम लोग क्यों हंसते हो? So see, on their way they passed a butcher encampment of grass huts. Okay, so the butchers' houses were made of grass because they were temporarily built. Where these nomadic graziers are those who rear animals. They have cattle, okay, and they graze them, they feed them, okay. Would live there, live for a time till when they used to stay there, when they used to move to another place. Until their animals had perhaps finished all the easy grazing within reach. Means what? Means they would move to one new place and they have the animals that they rear. Okay, these people, their profession is rearing cows, and फिर उसका milk and butter होगा, वो लोग आजू बाजू में बेचेंगे. So till when they used to stay over there. First point, till the time the animals had finished the easy grazing within reach. Means nearby whatever grass was available for them to eat till the time that used to be available. एक बार वो लोग ने खा लिया, maybe 15 days, 20 days, 1 month. Once that is over, then they cannot stay there anymore. Then they will move to another place. So first point is this. Second point, or they were not able to sell enough of their white butter and white milk in the district because that's how they used to earn money. वो मिल्क का वो मिल्क बेचते थे एंड मिल्क का बटर करके बटर बेचते थे. बट अगर वो बिजनेस नहीं हो रहा है, कोई खरीद नहीं रहा है, तो वो लोग क्या करेंगे उधर रह के? देन दे यूज्ड टू गो टू अनदर प्लेस. और third reason, there was no one to buy the young male buffaloes for tiger bait. So for them, I'll tell you, tiger bait is tiger को पकड़ने के लिए bait डालना. So the male buffaloes were of no use to them. So that's why those young male buffaloes, they used to sell it to those who used to catch tigers as bait and put it as bait. Understood this point? Explain what I said. Ranveer, explain what I said. Yes, because they used to rear cows, so they so till the time there was competition. The skin was very bad. I go forget whatever they do, but till that time they used to stay over there. Or perhaps this was reason 4. Now reason 4, perhaps a cattle killing tiger was making a nuisance of himself because these people used to rear cattle. So if there was a cattle around that used to kill, if there was a tiger around that used to kill cattle, then they obviously had to move. So what are the 4 reasons? First is they had finished all the easy grazing within reach. Second, not able to sell their white butter. Third, nobody to buy their young male buffaloes and state. And fourth, taking a nuisance of himself. We'll tell all the 4 points. First point, finished, the animals had finished easy grazing within their reach. Second point, they were not manufacturing white milk. Third, and fourth reason, we'll tell all the 4 points. Then,
first was that the cattle is there. Second point was that they will not be able to sell their white milk and white butter. Third point was that there was no one to buy the young milk of for tiger breed. And fourth was the cattle killing tiger was making a nuisance.
First point, क्या बोला था?
Ma'am, the cattle couldn't easy grazing.
Cattle had finished easy grazing within their reach. Huh? Good. Okay. Or perhaps a pattern killing tiger was making a nuisance of himself. They remains on. Now, Sylvia glanced at the butcher woman as she went past. पेंसिल रखो जो मैं कर रही हूँ एक तो पेंसिल उधर रख और ध्यान दे खुद तेरा ध्यान
अरे नहीं आता
your mind is very butterfly. So, Sylvia plans. That's when I'm talking about something, you talk about something else. Your dimag is not focused. Your dimag is thinking of thousands of other things. So Sylvia glanced at the butcher women as she went past. They wore trousers. Trousers are what? Chudidars. Okay. Like pants, like tight pants, chudidars. Tight and wrinkled at the ankles. Right? Girls, you all will understand what I'm saying, no? Trousers which are tight and wrinkled at the ankles. That's how chudidars are. They at the bottom they are sleeves. And in their ears, a large silver ring made out of somewhat like that. Okay, you can see the pants that they are wearing. So those are the trousers that she's talking about. Okay, and those necklaces and earrings. Large silver rings made out of melted rubies, and one of them was clinking a stick. Clinking means hitting a stick against the big brass garas. Garas means the pot. Okay, the brass garas in which they fetched water from the river for the camps to see which ones were empty. So one of them was hitting the stick against the gara to, from the sound they could identify if it's empty or full. The men and boys were out of camp just now with the herd or gone to the bazaar to sell produce. What was the produce that they used to sell? Potatoes.
White butter, white butter.
White butter and white butter. But one or two buffaloes were standing about, creatures of great wet noses and moving jaws and gaunt black bones. Gaunt right on lean, Lean, lean. The butchers were jungles, as severe too, born and bred in the lean, born and bred in the forest. Bred means BRED is bred means brought up. Born and brought up in the forest. For countless centuries, their forebears write down ancestors. Forebears, ancestors. Their forebears had lived like this, getting their living from animals, from grass, and trees as they scratched their food together and stored their substances in large herds and silver jewelry. They were man in the wandering pastoral age and not stone age hunters and not yet cultivators. Means they were not so underdeveloped like stone age hunters, nor were they so developed like cultivators. They are those that belong to the wandering pastoral age. Next, scroll down. Now there was the river twinkling between the trees, sunlit beyond dark trunks. They could hear it rushing along. They could hear the rush of the water. The women came out on the shore and made for the stepping stones. So the stepping stones are those stones on which they step and it helps them to cross the river. They had plenty to laugh and bicker about. Bicker about is to talk and to complain about. As they approached the river in a noisy crowd, they girded right up, encircled and held. Girded up their skirts. Like you can see that third woman, no, how she is holding her sari, right? So that it doesn't become wet. So that is girdling it. Okay. And can you repeat? Girded is encircled and held. So, जमा करके पकड़ते हैं ना? समझा कि नहीं? We girded up their skirts so as to jump from stone to stone as they climbed. Climbed is made noises. Climbed. With their sickles and poked together over their shoulders to have ease of movement. They shouted their quarrels above the gush of the river. Gush of the river is the rushing sound of the river. Noise frightens crocodiles. So purposely, when they used to cross the river, they used to make loud noises so that the crocodile gets afraid. Noise frightens crocodiles. The big mugger did not move, and all the women crossed in safety to the other bank. ये अच्छा काम है, ध्यान भी देना पड़ रहा है ना, पेज तो जाने दे. Here they had to climb a hillside. Here they had to climb a hillside to get at the grass, but all fell to with a will and sliced away at it wherever there was foothold to be had. Means here it was a steep hillside. Okay, so they needed that willpower, and wherever they used to get a foothold means some rock on which they can place their foot on. They used to use it and they used to climb up. Down below them ran the broad river. Now where have they come? They have come to the top of the mountain. Why have they come there? To collect grass. Down below them ran the broad river, pouring powerfully out from its deep, narrow pools among the cold cliffs and shallows, spreading into warm shallows, lit by kingfishers. Kingfishers are what? Birds. They are birds. Yeah, someone told me that we know what a kingfisher is from that bottle. We know it's not. That bird, no, so we know that is a kingfisher. So, okay, as far as you don't ingest what is in the bottle, you see the bottle, it is okay. Transparent. Okay. Great turtles. Great turtles live there and mussel. Mussel write down large edible fish. That what you can see now, that picture, that is the mussel. That man is holding a mussel. It's a large edible fish. Mussel. मेरे मुंह पे देखना लिखा हुआ है अच्छा but girl we are talking about the Marcy. Okay, so coming to this. Great turtles live there and Marcy weighing more than 100 pounds. Crocodiles too. Sometimes you could see them lying out on those slabs of clay over there, but there were none to be seen at the moment. Where Sibia was working, wind was coming across hundreds of miles of trees because now they were at a height. Cooled her sweating body, and she could look down over the river as if she were a bird. Okay, she were a bird. Yes. Why was many use करते हैं? Because yes, anything to do with a wish or something hypothetical, we say bird, we don't say words. So as if she were a bird. Although she did not dare stop for a moment under her mother's eye, her imagination took her in a swooping flight. Swooping flight means her imagination took her in a quick flight. Okay, quick imagination. Swooping means what you know? When an eagle flies, it swoops like that. When it swoops down, it doesn't fly, but it swoops. There's a job, something like gliding, but gliding will be when it's at one level. Swoop will be when it moves down. So her imagination took her in a swooping flight over the bright water and golden air to the banks where she played as a child. So she relived those memories of the time when she played as a child.
But why they have put that
golden air into the banks? Because it was getting evening, close to evening. Then, in those cavelets is a small cave, okay, something like that, what you can see there. Cavelets, write down small cave. Yeah. Okay. In the उधर क्यों concentrate कर रहा है? बेटा कभी करना चाहिए, मैंने माफ नहीं किया क्या? किया ना? क्या ये यहाँ तो पहले माफ नहीं किया? हाँ तो okay. So in those cavelets above the high water mark of the highest flood, she had high water mark of the highest flood means the water will not rise above that point. So that was a safe cave to keep something in. She had stored some little bowls molded of clay. So she had molded some bowls out of clay and she had kept it over there to dry. In that cavelet. Clay while they hardened. If there were anything that could be used for coloring, they would look fine, painted with marigolds. Marigolds are what those orange colored flowers. So marigolds and elephants. So she would color them after they would dry. She would paint it. कुछ भी
ये पहले कुछ लोग क्या
देखो पसंद आते हैं क्या ऐसा डिस्टर्ब करने को जान पूछ के ओके लेट्स कंटिन्यू चाइल्ड Child, the sharp word, the glare of a mother's angry, sweating face pulled Sylvia back to work and they toiled on, right? The mother wanted her to continue working. So she called her up to her and she had to continue with her work. But at last, it was time to go back to see their animals and the evening meal. The loaded women, because now they were carrying all that paper grass, set out to cross the river again. They were on their way back home. Okay, they had finished collecting paper grass and they were going back home. Sylvia hung back. Hung back means she waited. She didn't go along with them. She would just dawdle. Dawdle right down. Be slow. Be slow. Waste time, be slow. Waste time slash be slow. She would just dawdle a bit and run to see if the little clay cups were still there in the cave, waiting to be painted and used. Although the women were now tired and loaded, they still talked. Those in front yelled to those behind. They crossed the river safely. So why they used to scream? Yes, because the crocodile used to be scared of that noise. So they crossed the river safely and disappeared up the track into the trees on the other side. Even their voices died away. Now silence fell. Now what has happened? Sylvia has hung behind, she is not with them, and all the other women are gone. Now she cannot even hear their voices. Okay. So silence fell. Sylvia came down alone to the stepping stones. The light of the evening was striking up the gorge. Gorge right down, narrow valley with a stream running. Narrow valley with a stream running. With a stream running through the valley. With a stream running. The light of the evening was striking up the gorge, pink into the ultraviolet shadows. Now that the sun was off it, the water poured almost invisible among the stones. Means what? The sun wasn't there, so the water looks invisible. It looks black, no? When there is light, it looks glassy, transparent. But when there is no light, the water is not visible. So the sun was off, which means now it was getting dark and this river was in the valley. So there was no sun coming on the river. Now that the sun was off it, the water poured almost invisible among the stones with no reflection to show where it began. Sylvia stepped onto the first stone. Now Sylvia is alone. Hey, Baba. Why are you sitting like that? Huh? You're sleepy? Huh? Yande Baba. And you cannot afford to omit any chapter. It will come in MCQ. So don't ignore anything. Not one of your easy chapters like Little Magical. It's not one of them. Little Magical was easy only. Okay. So with no reflection to show where it began, Sylvia stepped onto the first stone. She was heavily weighted. Her muscles stretched, heavily weighted because she too was carrying a load of paper grass. Her muscles stretched and aching. Boys, तुम लोग का थोड़ा ध्यान भटक रहा है, please focus. She was heavily weighted. Her muscles stretched and aching. The lay folk squeaked in the packed dry grass, and dug into her collarbone so close under her skin, in spite of the sari bunched up to make a pad. So mean the sari was rolled up to give her some protection, but still that was poking into her collarbone. When she was halfway over, she put her load down on a big boulder to rest. Big boulder is a huge rock. A big boulder to rest and lean, breathing on the floor. So she kept it and she was leaning on that boulder. At the same moment, a Gujar woman came down with two garas. Now is the actual episode of that crocodile. So the Gujar woman came down with two garas to the water on the other side in order to get the good clear water which would quickly fill both the garas to the top without sand. She walked onto the stepping stone. So what she did, she didn't want to collect it from the edge of the river because when she fills water from there, sand would get into it. So she went towards the middle of the river. She walked onto the stepping stones. She was within a yard of the crocodile when he lunged at her. So he jumped at her. When he lunged at her. Up out of the darkling water. Darkling, right down over there, growing dark. Up out of the darkling water heaved the great reptile, water slushing off him, his livid jaws yawning, livid right down, angry. His livid jaws yawning and all his teeth flashing as he splashed at her leg. So he caught hold of her one leg of the Gujar woman. And where is Divya at this point?
Other side of it.
She's on the other side resting at the boulder over there, and this woman has crossed the part of the river to fill her two garas. So all his teeth flashing as he splashed at her leg. The woman screamed, dropped both brass pots with a clatter on the boulder. Clatter on the boulder means when those pots fell, they made those sound. It hit the boulder. It hit another stone, rock. From whence means from where. Okay? From whence they bounced to the water, and Sibia saw them bob away in the current. Oh, the two good vessels gone. Okay, so what happened? She fell, she lost grip of her both the garas, and they went bobbing away in the current. Bobbing away means they go like this, no? Like that, and bobbing away. Then the Gujar woman recoiled from the crocodile. Recoiled right now, spring back in pain. Spring back in pain. The Gujar woman recoiled from the crocodile, but his jaws closed on her leg. At the same moment, as she slipped and fell on the bone-breaking stone, because he's got hold of her one leg, she has no support, so she slips and falls on the stone and clutched one of the timber logs to save herself. This we did in the beginning. That timber used to be floated and some of them used to get stuck in the rocks over there. So she took support of one of that timber logs to save herself. The log jammed between two boulders with the woman clinging to it and screaming while the crocodile pulled on her leg, threshing his mighty tail. Mighty, that should be, it's written might over there. That should be mighty. Threshing its mighty tail. So about the tail we had done in the beginning, that its tail is very powerful, it helps it to maneuver and formidable, unresistible force, and It's a very powerful part of the crocodile. So threshing his mighty tail, bang, bang, to and fro in great smacking flails, as he tried to drag her free because he was holding, what is that? It's my to see the bed. See the bed. Drag her off down to the deeps of the pool. So even he had to take more efforts because she was holding on to the boulder. So he took more efforts to pull her free, to drag her free and carry her off down into the deeps of the pool. Blood spread everywhere. Sylvia sprang. What did Sylvia do immediately? Not a moment of hesitation. She just sprang to help her. From boulder to boulder, she came leaping right like a rock goat. You know, a rock goat can climb even the steepest of mountains, right? So when we are saying that she went like a rock goat, means she went in such a dexterous or professional manner that she did not fall at all. From boulder to boulder, she came leaping like a rock goat. Sometimes it had seemed difficult to cross these stones, especially the big gap in the middle, where the river poured through like a bulge of glass. Means there was some portion of the river where there was more space between the rocks, and over there was water, the river bulging. Okay, but now she came on wings, choosing her footing in mid-air without even thinking about it. Okay, like an expert at it, she went over there and crossed the stepping stones without even thinking about it. And in one moment, she was beside the shrieking woman. Shrieking means shouting. The lady was screaming in pain. In the boiling bloody water, the face of the crocodile, fastened round her neck, was tugging to and fro and smiling. Smile का क्या था? That evil bony smile. So he was tugging her to and fro to set her free. Yes, here this is the picture of her trying to save her from the crocodile, and that was the hay poke that she used. And smiling. His eyes rolled onto Sibia because now he saw Sibia coming over there. One slap of the tail could kill her. Okay, so he could have managed holding her leg at the same time, hit Sibia with a slap of his tail, and she would have out and died. But she was not at all scared. He struck. Up shot the water 20 feet. He struck means he struck his tail. And up shot the water 20 feet and fell like a silver chain. Means when he hit the water splashed up 20 feet and it fell like small beads. That's why I see. And fell like a silver chain. So it looked like a silver chain. So here we are talking about the water falling down. Again, the rock jumped under the blow. So if the rock is jumping under his blow, what would have happened of Sibia? Imagine. Then, but in the daily heroism of the jungle, as common as a thorn tree, Sibia did not hesitate. Means just as a thorn tree is so common to the jungle, for her even this act of heroism was common for her. It was nothing great. She aimed at the reptile's eyes. ये beginning में हम लोग ने किया था, which are the most vulnerable parts? Eyes. They were white and the side. She aimed at the reptile's eyes. With all the force of her little body, she drove the hay poke at the eyes, and one prong went in, right in, while its pair scratched past on the horny cheek. So one prong of it. Here there are 4. In the previous one you saw there were 2 or there were 3. So that's why the other pair means it must have been the one with 3. So one gets into the eye and the other 2 that are remaining. The pair.
Might be 4 because one pair.
Okay, whatever.
Pair.
So then the other part of it which didn't get into the eye hit on the bony cheek. तो bony cheek को तो कुछ होने वाला नहीं है. It's its eye which is going to kill him. Then the crocodile reared up in convulsion. Convulsion, something like fits. Fits, you know what is fits, no? So something like convulsion, like when you're in deep pain. Till his half lizard body was out of the water, the tail and nose nearly meeting over his stony back. Can you imagine that? The tail, it's curved like this because it's in so much pain, it has become totally curved where its tail and its mouth is meeting each other. Then he crashed back, exploding the water, and in an uproar of bloody foam, he disappeared. He would die. Not yet, but presently, though his death would not be known for days, how would you come to know that he has died? Not till his stomach, blown with gas, floated him. Then perhaps he would be found upside down among the logs at the timber boom with pus in his eye. So immediately you would not come to know the reptile has died or no. After some days, when it would die and its body would float upside down in the water, that's when you would be confirmed that this reptile is dead. Sylvia got her arms round the fainting woman. Now what does she do with the woman? She has saved her. Sylvia got her arms round the fainting woman and somehow dragged her from the water. She stopped her wounds with sand and bound them with rag. Bound right down, tied. Okay, so the lady's leg is bleeding. So what does she do? First, she puts sand to stop the blood from flowing, and then she ties a drag around her and helped her home to the butcher encampment, where the men made a litter. Write down litter, write down like a stretcher. Okay, so the men made a litter to carry her to someone for treatment. So she treated her, gave her whatever first aid, and she takes her to the butcher encampment. The men make a litter for her and take her. Then Sylvia went back for her grass and sickle and fork. Now she had used the fork for the crocodile. The fork was lying in the, now is the time she gets the weed. So pay attention. The fork was lying in the river, not carried away, luckily. And as she bent to pick it out from the water, she saw the blue. And she goes to pick up the fork. Okay, Papa. Hello. Bedtime story. they have their book somewhere. Book को side में करके सो रहा है. Pillow लाओ. So, not blue now, with the sun nearly gone because it was dark, so you couldn't identify the real color of it. With the sun nearly gone, but a no color white blue, and its shape wobbling in the movement of the stream. Wobbling means because the water was moving, it seemed to be moving. Then she reached her arm down into a yard of the cold silt water to get it, missing it first of all because of refraction. But she missed it at the first time because of refraction. Then there it lay in her wet palm, perfect, even pierced, ready for use. With the sunset shuffled about inside it like gold dust, all her heart went up in flames of joy. She was very happy and excited seeing that. After a bit, she twisted it into the top of her skirt against her tummy, so she would know if it burst through the poor cloth and fell. So she stuck it near her skirt. Then she picked up her hay for her fork and sickle and the heavy grass and set off for home. Okay, now she's got everything that she has. She's taken the blue wheel, she's kept it safely, and she's going back home. Hey, what a day. Her bare feet. Okay, now is the time when she's going back home. Huh? So it's dark and it's dangerous, but she was not scared of that also. Her bare feet smudged out the wriggle marks of snakes in the dust. Means in that area at that time, there used to be snakes. There was the thin singing of malaria mosquitoes. Thin singing means the buzzing sound of malaria mosquitoes among the trees now. I don't want mosquitoes over here, but buzzing of wriggle marks of snake in the thing, and this track was much used at night by a morose old Makna elephant. Morose, right on ill-tempered. That image that you can see is that of a Makna elephant, the tuskless. तेरा क्यों हो गया सीधा How he is sitting? ये भी almost Okay, so that place was even visited and frequented by this dangerous elephant, but he did not scare the tuskless one. But Sibia was not thinking of any of them. The stars came out. She noticed. Notice it's written, it should be she noticed. On the way back, now the time when she's going home and she meets her mother. See this conversation. On the way back, she met her mother out of breath. Her mother was out of breath. She had come running, come to look for her and scolding. I did not see till I was home that you were not there. So the mother, she was with the crowd, right? And she was also tired. So she didn't realize that Sibia hadn't followed her. So after she reached home, she realized that my daughter has not come home still. I thought something must have happened to you. And Sibia, bursting with her story, cried, something did. I found a blue bead for my necklace. Blue. So she didn't say anything about the great heroic act that she did, but she said,
Yes.
now that first page.
Yes, but we see Indian home has used.
Okay, just now, wait, was ये चाहिए क्यों change करना? Okay, now from here you write copy this down. Where will you write?
कहीं पे नोटबुक नहीं मैं हो
Facebook your own thing you have place has so much space. This will help you with your answer.
When Sibia returned, ma'am, second line they were when Sibia returned.
When Sibia, can see that she, when Sibia returns to the river to get her pitchfork you can write hay fork. What is that? He's trying to
पीढ़ी है ठीक है मेरे एक्स कंप्यूटर
What is the foundation?
quietly write it for both of your right. क्या है तेरे को मैं दे दूंगा टूट गया पहले शार्पनर मांगेगा फिर पेंसिल मांगेगा ये ले और कुछ चाहिए शार्पनर चाहिए एक और पेंसिल चाहिए नहीं very nice to meet you right first finish right then talk as much as फालतू का कब से कर रहा है तो लगता है समझता नहीं है क्या तो फिर भी क्यों कर रहा है करता है कि सबको ध्यान रहे कि रणवीर भी है इस क्लास में फिर क्यों करता है कॉन्स्टेंट इसी टाइम finish full bring me your book and show me bring it and show me पूरा लिखा है चेक कर एक लाइन भी रहना नहीं चाहिए शॉर्ट में कुछ नहीं चाहिए बराबर लिख शॉर्ट में कुछ नहीं व्हाट इज दिस वो पहले से शॉर्ट है शॉर्ट में लिखा है अनडिसाइडेड You now I will show your voice. Open that page. Open that page. वही मैं देख रही हूँ हैंड राइटिंग ही देखो पढ़ूंगी ना मैं और सी दिस ये एग्जाम किसी को होगा क्या पढ़ने को ऊपर नीचे टेढ़ा मेढ़ा आधा आधा टेढ़ा सीधा आधा टेढ़ा You see this? You see this? You see how they इधर देख तू तेरे contrast में you see this? जब इनको लगता है और अच्छा
जितनी देर में वो लिखते हैं उतनी गंदे लिखते हैं और दो पेपर खत्म हो जाएंगे एमबीबीएस
तो वो मत
मार्क्स कैसे
ये देखो
लास्ट टाइम 97
और वो
87 बस 86.86.8
वो मेरा
यो कितना है
होगा करेक्ट
ऐसे ही पूछा मेरे से कंपल्सरी
You finish writing. You can finish close your books. I know, I don't have to worry about it.
क्या पढ़ो ना पढ़े तो नहीं रहे हो लिख वापस से अच्छी सी लिख
See now, how is this honest more? Okay. I'm reading, I don't see anything that's missed. People often don't realize that speaking can lead to unforeseen achievements. When Sylvia returns to get her pitchfork, she finds a huh? In the end, Sylvia does not hate like huh? What is it?
Tell her mother.
She does not tell mother,
Her
mother hers
Can I go
about helping the lady because she is more तू कब करने वाला मैं डैड को बात करने कि मैं इधर दे रही हूँ और ये लिखता मेरे को हिम्मत करता है बोलने की कि मैं कब करने वाला हूँ
नोटबुक में
That's my insult.
आप रफ करके नोटबुक में लिखने वाले
वो आधा लिखते वो इतना शरीफ है
हम उसको तुम्हारे बात में दिखाने वाले
तो यहाँ पे ठीक से नहीं लिख रहा है वो नोटबुक में क्या लिखेगा It symbolizes it symbolizes that can be severe happy. We take many things granted. For का wrong English.
I'm short मेरे का wrong ही रहेगा ना English sorry
उल्टा बात कर मेरे साथ तेरे डैड को आगे फिर तेरे को सीधा करेगा तेरा सब उल्टा सीधा हो गया पर उल्टा कर बात how Indian village families struggle to
how they have to
struggle to क्या
everything.
struggle is so I can't understand happiness in every little thing and celebrate in criteria. Their simple and innocent wishes critical around the that. I'm telling you, boys and girls, all of you all. Washroom, jump in. I'm telling you all of you all have to get a 90 plus in your boards. I'm telling you. 90 or more than 90, anything. 95 when you get a party from my side. I'm sure some
Bundle इसको
escape you.
हम जब
What's the time?